Heh heh heh. Well, well, well. Look who showed up. You. The one they swore would never crawl out of that quiet little corner. The one they overlooked, dismissed, underestimated. And now, you're the reason they're pacing. You're the reason they can't sleep. You're the reason they keep re-watching that footage. Like it's gonna change. Oh, baby. They didn't know the lens was gonna catch that version of you. But you did. You always knew it would come to this. They weren't supposed to see. You were supposed to stay predictable, stay small, stay safe. You were supposed to stay the little quiet soul who smiles politely, who keeps their rage in a tidy drawer next to the broken dreams and polite apologies. But those cameras didn't lie, did they? See, the funny thing about surveillance, it's not just about watching, it's about witnessing. And now, they've witnessed you. Not the mask you wear, not the watered-down version of yourself you feed the world like breadcrumbs. No, no. They saw the eyes. They saw what's behind them. They saw the thing you've been dying to unleash, the thing you trained in silence, the thing you built in your loneliest hours. They saw it. And suddenly, they're shocked. Shocked. Ha! As if you owe them softness. You ever notice how people only pay attention when you explode? When you scream, break pattern, shift tone? Oh, now they're alert. Now they want to know what's happening. Now you're threatening. But where were they when you were grinding alone in that suffocating routine? Where were they when your hands were bleeding from the climb? When your heart was breaking, but you kept showing up? They didn't see that, did they? But the cameras did. Oh, yes, those silent little watchers. They saw it all. They captured your moments of becoming. They caught your fury in stillness. They watched you transform while the world kept scrolling. And now that the footage is out, now they want to talk. Let me tell you something they won't. The truth didn't shock them. Your evolution didn't shock them. What really shook them to their core was the fact that you never warned them. You didn't announce it. You didn't post it. You didn't need validation. You just changed. And that's what scares them. People expect monsters to roar, but the deadliest ones, they whisper, they wait, they watch. And when the time is right, they move. And you, my sweet ticking clock, you moved like you meant it. Think they wanted to see you win? Of course not. They liked you in pieces, digestible, quiet, nice. But the camera caught what they didn't. The unfolding, the becoming, the madness under control, the storm that walks like a person. And that's what left them shocked. Not the success, not the power, but the proof. Because now there's no unseeing it. No more pretending you're just trying your best. No more downplaying you. They saw the clip. They saw the control. They saw the way you held your own chaos like a weapon. Calmly. You ever see someone realize too late that they underestimated the wrong person? Huh. It's delicious. That twitch in their eye when the footage plays again and again in their head. The scene's burned into memory. You, standing tall, unshaken, speaking with conviction, moving like someone who's already done the work. You, not performing. You, existing in your rawest form. That wasn't a moment. That was a reveal they weren't ready for. And you didn't flinch. I'll tell you what else got captured. It wasn't just your voice, it was your command. It wasn't just your walk, it was your presence. It wasn't just your face, it was the absence of fear in your eyes. Because the real power isn't in your fists. It's in the fact that you didn't need to lift one. You didn't break anything. You didn't shout. You didn't beg. You just stood there, owning everything they tried to deny you. And the camera, It documented that. Ho 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 ho. And they're shocked, let them be. But here's a little secret between us, darling. That wasn't even your final form. That was you, warming up. That was just a glimpse, a frame, a single scene. The real footage, the one they won't survive, hasn't even aired yet. That little clip they caught, that wasn't the peak. That wasn't the masterpiece. That was the teaser trailer. You gave them 30 seconds of raw, unfiltered you, and they're already spiraling. They're texting each other, trying to figure out when it happened, how they missed the transformation, who else saw it, what it means. It means their illusion of control just shattered. It means the role they assigned you, the quiet one, the agreeable one, the filler character in their little show, just got rewritten. And the best part, you didn't ask for permission. You didn't schedule it. You didn't make an announcement post. You let the cameras roll while you took up space. Unapologetically. They're calling it arrogance. They're calling it weird. They're calling it too much. Because they're not used to seeing someone like you, without a leash. You didn't wait for their round of applause. You didn't need a green light. You didn't edit yourself to be more palatable. You walked through your own living room like it was a throne room, and the cameras just happened to be rolling. Oh, but the expressions, those twisted, silent, blinking expressions when the footage started circulating. They recognized something, not just the change. They recognized the threat. The threat of someone who no longer needs to be validated. The danger of someone who's found peace in their own chaos. The volatility of a soul that's already burned once and isn't afraid to burn again. This time, on purpose. It's funny. They'll scroll past thousands of people every day. Louder people, richer people, flashier people. But it was you in your rawest, quietest, most undeniable state that made them stop and stare. Because there's something unsettling about real power, not the staged kind, not the loud, overcompensating kind, but the kind that comes from someone who knows what it took, knows what it cost, knows what they are now. That footage, it didn't show the fake smile. It showed the moment you stopped hiding behind it. It showed your truth. And that kind of truth. It makes cowards twitch. They're calling friends, asking, "Did you see it? Did you feel it?" What is happening to them? They're watching it frame by frame, pausing at the moment your eyes shifted, rewinding when your posture changed, trying to decode how someone could be so certain of themselves after everything you've been through. They don't get it. Because they don't understand what it means to rebuild. They've never met silence that taught them something. They've never sat in the wreckage of their own identity and said, "Yes, this is where I begin again." But you have. And that's why the footage hit different. It didn't just show a person. It showed a rebirth. No screams, no fire, just presence. Just that look on your face. The look of someone who doesn't fear being seen anymore. They used to talk over you. Now they lower their voices when they mention your name. They used to laugh in rooms you weren't invited to. Now they're checking if the cameras were rolling when they did. They used to shrug off your silence as weakness. And then they saw what you built inside of it. A garden made of broken promises. A backbone made of buried rejections. A fire lit not out of anger, but out of clarity. Because when you've been through hell quietly, you don't come back needing to prove anything. You come back aware. It's not about revenge. It's not about proving them wrong. It's about the fact that for once, the record, the actual, undeniable, time-stamped, frame-by-frame record, matched what you've always known deep down. That you're not soft, You're not safe. You're not small. You're not sorry. You're you. Finally. And the lens, it caught that. It caught the exhale after years of holding your breath. It caught the way your shadow no longer curled in fear. It caught the posture of someone who doesn't flinch when watched. Because it's not a performance if you live like this every day. If the rage is laced with reason, if the silence is sharpened like a blade, if the calm is just a warning before the storm. And they watched it. They watched it like it was a horror film, except the monster wasn't under your bed. The monster was you, and you weren't hiding. You were smiling, not a grin, not a smirk. That crooked, knowing, dangerous smile that says, "I've been awake the whole time. You just never noticed, hey he he." That smile, it's the part that haunts them, because it wasn't loud, wasn't desperate, wasn't asking for anything. It was a receipt, the proof that you made it through everything they never even bothered to ask about. The pain they ignored, the silence they dismissed, the 1,000 quiet deaths you died just to build this version of you. And when the footage played, when your face filled that screen, when the weight of your presence bled through every pixel, they didn't just see you, they felt you. The energy of someone who doesn't need to talk louder, because the silence does the talking. The posture of someone who doesn't throw punches, because their existence is already a declaration of war. It's unsettling, isn't it, to realize the person you wrote off was recording their becoming the entire time. To realize the walls have eyes, and those eyes remember. They don't forget the day you stopped apologizing. They don't forget the hour you decided to stop waiting. They don't forget the moment your fear turned into something usable. They saw the shift, the way you moved through your house like a lion in its den, not pacing, not performing, owning. Every inch of that space testified to the fact that you'd outgrown your former self and left the corpse buried right under their expectations. And now they're rattled, because people like them build their power on the assumption that people like you will never wake up, never rise, never notice what's been done in the dark. But the cameras were rolling. They can deny your words. They can gaslight your memories. They can question your motives, but they can't argue with the footage. That raw, time-stamped, high-definition, no-filter proof that the one they feared you might become isn't a future version. It's the present tense. It's who you are when no one's directing the scene. It's who you are without an audience. And that's what really makes them sweat. Because they were counting on your silence. They were counting on your containment. They built their comfort on the idea that you'd stay in character. The character they wrote for you, without your consent. And now, the script's been burned. There's a specific kind of panic that sets in when the puppet cuts its own strings and smiles at the puppeteer. That's what they felt when they saw you on that screen. That eerie, bone-deep recognition that says, this person is no longer under control. Not theirs, not society's, not even your past's. You didn't break out. You walked out. Calmly. Unshaken. Daring them to try and stop you. You can't fake that energy. You can't manufacture that aura. It's the kind that comes only after surviving 1,000 small betrayals. Only after clawing your way through every layer of who they expected you to be and standing up as who you actually are. The kind of power that doesn't need to knock. It walks in through the front door and leaves it open behind. Because once you've tasted your own potential, you don't go back. You don't shrink to fit their frame. You break it. And that's what happened when the recording played. Their version of you shattered. The fake, diluted, inoffensive version they tried to project onto your life was replaced by truth. Brutal, magnetic, terrifying truth. And it wasn't even dramatic. That's the part that eats at them. You weren't yelling, you weren't throwing chairs, you weren't begging for recognition. You just existed, fully, freely, firmly, and that was enough to wreck their idea of safety. They expected evolution to look like fireworks. They expected growth to come with disclaimers. They never expected presence to feel like a weapon. But your silence is louder than any scream. Your stillness is heavier than any threat. And your eyes, they carry the history of someone who learned not just to endure the pain, but to harvest it. You built power in the places they abandoned. You made armor out of your old wounds. You grew teeth in the silence. And the camera didn't just see that. It immortalized it. Immortalized. There's no rewinding that. No unseeing. No scrubbing the footage clean. No editing the truth to make it more comfortable. Because the lens didn't catch a version of you. It caught the core. The kind of core that only forms after every door has been slammed in your face. After every conversation where they smiled while sharpening the knife. After you sat in the dark and realized no one was coming to save you. And you got up anyway. They didn't expect survival to look like this. They thought if you made it out, you'd be humble, timid, softened by the journey. But you didn't come back gentle. You came back aware. Fully aware of what they tried to steal. Fully aware of how low they kept the ceiling and how you decided to break through it instead. You built a sanctuary out of your own resistance, and the recording, it caught the blueprint. The posture, the quiet dominance, the calm defiance. They'll tell each other it was just a moment. They'll lie and say you got lucky, because it's easier for them to believe that this is temporary than to accept that you've fully arrived. This isn't a peak. This is your baseline. The default setting after shedding every false identity, after dismantling the stories they wrote about you. The footage didn't just show your strength, it showed your alignment. Mind sharp, voice steady, energy undeniable. That's not something you fake. That's not something you rehearse. That's something you earn. By walking through fire without asking if it's allowed. You know what really disturbed them? It wasn't just the fact that you were powerful. It was that you looked at peace with it. Like you'd made friends with the madness. Like you weren't running from your past anymore. You were using it as fuel. That rattles people. Because most of them are still hiding behind filters, facades, fake humility, still trying to be digestible, still shaving the edges off their truth just to be liked. But you walked right into the light with your sharpest edges intact. You didn't dim them. You didn't disguise them. You let the camera catch every scar, every smirk, every ounce of the darkness that made you this precise. And that's the real terror. You didn't just survive the dark, you made it part of your identity. They're scrolling in silence now, re-watching, analyzing, trying to figure out if it was a fluke, trying to pinpoint the exact second the caterpillar turned into something with fangs. But there is no timestamp for that. It wasn't sudden, it wasn't dramatic. It was years of rebuilding, of shedding, of deciding every single day not to become bitter, but to become dangerous. They're confused because they never saw you fall apart. You didn't make a scene. You didn't leave breadcrumbs. You just disappeared into your own silence and came back with something ancient in your eyes. What they call shocking was really just inevitable. Because when someone's been watching the world through cracked glass long enough, they stop trying to fix it. They start sharpening the edges. You didn't ask for a spotlight. You didn't plan the moment. You didn't need a stage. The world became your stage when you decided your existence would no longer require permission. And the house, the walls that held your process, the floorboards that heard the weight of every late-night reckoning. Those cameras knew the truth. They weren't watching just to protect you. They were documenting the arrival. He. The arrival wasn't marked by trumpets or parades. It wasn't loud. It didn't need to be. It was felt, not announced, like the sudden drop in temperature before a storm, like the stillness that warns everything is about to shift. That footage, it wasn't just you walking through a room. It was the energy that wrapped around the walls when you passed. It was the way the air changed, the way the atmosphere bent to accommodate who you've become. People don't always notice the details, but the cameras, they caught everything. The way your shoulders didn't sag anymore, the way your eyes didn't flick for approval, the way your body didn't apologize for existing. You didn't speak like someone who needed to be heard. You spoke like someone who was already understood by forces far greater than this world. There's a frequency in that, one that unsettles those who still whisper their power. You didn't whisper. You breathed it, naturally, effortlessly, like power was your native language. They're watching in silence because something about what they saw made their skin crawl. Not out of fear of you, but out of fear of what it says about them. The realization that while they were laughing, mocking, ignoring, belittling, you were building, you weren't sleeping, you were studying, you were decoding the rules. You were watching them play their little games while you learned how to rewrite the whole system. And then you moved. And the movement was subtle, but it sent a shockwave. That's what the footage did. It exposed the fact that power doesn't have to be chaotic to be catastrophic. They remember when you used to hesitate, when your voice would break in the middle of sentences, when your hands would twitch under pressure. They remember the earlier version of you, pliable, unsure, harmless. And that memory is the only thing keeping them sane right now. But the footage didn't match the memory. The footage told the truth. That you've been evolving behind the curtain, that the person they thought they knew no longer exists. What stands in your place isn't just stronger, it's rooted. Rooted in self-awareness, rooted in rage that's been refined into focus, rooted in pain that's been metabolized into clarity. They're not scared because you're angry. They're scared because you're calm. That's the part no one teaches them. That when someone has truly made peace with themselves, when someone has sat alone in the pit and learned how to listen to their own destruction, they don't come out looking for a fight. They come out ready, unshakable, immovable. And when they stand in a room, the room knows. There's no way to fake that. There's no way to mimic the weight of someone who's carried their own ruin and still walks like a goddamn legend. That's what they saw. Not attitude, not arrogance, presence. That magnetic, haunting, unteachable thing that comes from surviving things you don't talk about and refusing to let those things define you. The footage didn't create fear. It confirmed it. Confirmed the gut feeling they ignored for too long. That behind your quiet was calculation. Behind your kindness was discipline. Behind your patience was fire. Fire doesn't flinch. It doesn't ask for permission to rise. It doesn't check who's watching before it consumes the room. It just is. And when they saw you, in that moment, on that footage, they saw the spark they tried to smother turn into a living blaze. No theatrics, no tantrums, no begging. Just a presence that said, I've already been through worse. This This is light work, they watched, and something deep in their chest began to unravel. Because they weren't just seeing the aftermath, they were seeing the inevitable. The result of every ignored warning sign, every underestimation, every time they looked you in the eye and saw nothing but shadow, never realizing that monsters glow differently in the dark. You weren't trying to be impressive. You weren't performing strength. You were embodying it. You weren't reciting confidence. You were made of it. And that terrifies them, because people can handle anger. They can handle tears. They can even handle chaos. But what they can't handle is someone who has mastered all three and folded them into stillness. Someone who no longer seeks revenge because they're too busy becoming a force. Someone who no longer cares to be understood because they've understood themselves. Someone who has stared into the mirror long enough to stop fearing the reflection. They thought they were watching a security feed. They didn't realize they were witnessing a crowning, a coronation that needed no throne, no witnesses, no royal decree. Just your shadow stretching across the floor like it owned every inch of the space it touched. And when the camera lens blinked, when the footage ended, they sat there still, breath caught in their throat. Because for the first time, they weren't looking at you. They were looking at truth. Unfiltered, unapologetic, uncontainable, and truth, when it wears your face, is the most terrifying thing they'll ever see. Smile for the camera. It's still recording.